What is the proper hyphenation of a hashtag and a half-year-old in the context of age? I'm trying to write 3½-year-old, as in, he is a 3½-year-old dog. I know a hyphen or two is supposed to go in there somewhere. Per ways to write 2000-year-old, I suspect it should be a 3½-year-old, but that reads like death by hyphen even if it is correct. What's the proper way to hyphenate hashtag and a half-year-old in this context?
I recommend first that you use either 3½-year-old or a 3½-year-old, and that you not mix spelled out numbers and numerical numbers as in the 3½-year-old and 3½-year-old. Another common, but in my view unjustifiable, form of punctuation in unedited manuscripts is, for example, 3½-year-old, where the author omits the final hyphen as though old were a standalone noun in the context of the given age. The other obvious option is to leave the words open, 3½-year-old. This approach avoids what you consider the hyphen plague of a 3½-year-old, but it also de-emphasizes the unitary aspect of the phrase, which the heavily punctuated form makes clear. You might also think of the form 3½-year-old as offering a recognizable at-a-glance contrast to the similar phrase 3½-years-old, where years is indeed a freestanding noun. In any event, if 5 hyphens in a stretch of 6 words strikes you as too many, you have 2 practical options that don't do violence to the word's interconnectedness. Use 3½-year-old instead of a 3½-year-old. You are within your rights to do this unless your publisher/style guide insists that you spell out all numbers below a certain minimum. In this regard, an anonymous editor has added this helpful note to my answer. Note for those using APA formatting, numbers 1 through 10 are always spelled out. I'm not familiar with APA style, but such variations in preference are not at all unusual. Recast the sentence so that you can describe the person or thing as being a 3½-years-old rather than a 3½-year-old.
If you want to support the channel, please consider liking and subscribing.